Good day, class. This is Mom Renz again, and welcome to Chemistry Time. We are now on Module 6 for our third quarter, and the title of your module is May I Know Your Number? Again, this is the pattern on how you're going to answer your modules, so please follow this. For our most essential learning competencies, we have to determine the number of protons, neutrons, and electrons in a particular atom. And these are the following objectives. 1. Define ion, cation, and anion. Number 2. Determine the number of electron, proton, and neutron in positive ions. 3. Determine the number of electron, proton, and neutron in negative ions. And number 4, illustrate how the subatomic particles are distributed in an atom, an ion, or cation. Now let's take the pretest first. Number 1, what do you call the charged atom or even a charged molecule? A. An ion, B. Atom, C. Cation, D. Ion. Number 2. What do you call a positive charge atom that has more protons than electrons? A. An ion, B. Atom, C. Cation, D. Ion. What do you call a negative charge atom that has more electrons than protons? A. An ion, B. Atom, C. Cation, D. Ion. Number 4. How many protons, neutrons, and electrons are in boron? A. 5 protons, 1 neutron, 5 electrons. B. 1 proton, 5 neutrons, 5 electrons. C. 5 protons, 6 neutrons, 5 electrons. D. 5 protons, 5 neutrons, 1 electron. Number 5. How many protons, neutrons, and electrons are in fluorine 19? A. 9 protons, 10 neutrons, 9 electrons. B. 9 protons, 10 neutrons, 10 electrons. C. 10 protons, 10 neutrons, 9 electrons. D. 10 protons, 9 neutrons, 10 electrons. Now, if you are done answering, let us check your pretest. Number 1 is letter D, ion. Number 2 is letter C, cation. Number 3, it's A, anion. Number 4, it's letter C, 5 protons, 6 neutrons, and 5 electrons. 5. How many protons, neutrons, and electrons are in fluorine 19? The correct answer is A, 9 protons, 10 neutrons, 9 electrons. Now, moving forward, let's answer looking back. So, dito, madali lang yan. You have choices given. And for part 2, you have to put the number of electrons, protons, and neutrons based from the figure that is given. So, this is iron with the symbol Fe and given the atomic mass and atomic number. So, you have to compute for it. You can have your periodic table of elements if you have at home. I think you have it kasi grade 7 pa lang kayo, ginagamit nyo na yun. And also in the learning module of grade 8, yung dinistribute sa school, yan, meron din doon periodic table sa book. Now, let's have a brief introduction. As you can see here, there are two elements, Na, which means sodium, and F, which means fluorine. Now, let's talk of the charges or the ions. What is an ion? An ion is an atom that loses or gains an electron. Loses, ibig sabihin nagbibigay or nawawalan. Gains, meaning tumatanggap kasi kulang. Okay? So, pag nag-lose ka, ibig sabihin meron ka, capable ka na magbigay, kaya ikaw yung mawawalan. And then, yung atom naman, or ion na nagigain, siya naman yung electron na kung saan may kakulangan ka, deficient ka, kaya ikaw yung tatanggap ng electron. Okay? Ion is also a charged atom or molecule. So, you can see here dito sa ating GIF, sodium loses electron. So, meron kasi siyang sobra na electron. Hindi na niya yun, kailangan. Kaya, isi-share na lang niya kay fluorine. Kasi stable na siya. So, mas madaling ibigay na lang yung isa para magamit ng iba. So, maglulus siya. Kaya, ang charge ay positive. Well, dun naman sa fluorine, siya naman ay negative charge kasi siya naman yung kulang, siya yung magigain. Ibig sabihin ng negative, deficient siya. Okay, so tinanggap niya yung isa ni sodium. So, siya yung nag-gain ng electron. So, yung electron na may kakayanan mag-lose or mag-gain ng electron, tatawagin siyang ion. Okay? So, atom siya na pwedeng mag-lose or gain ng electron. So, ion ang tawag sa atom na yun. Paano nabubuo yung ion? Ions formed by the addition or removal of electron from neutral atoms or molecules. So, nasabi ko na kanina, balikan ulit natin. Addition or removal of electron. So, dito kay sodium, dahil siya yung nag-lose ng isang electron, siya yung nag-remove. Siya yung natanggalan, kaya siya nag-lose. Yung addition naman, si fluorine yun. Kasi nadagdagan siya ng isa na galing kay sodium. Kasi nga, siya yung tumanggap. So, siya yung nag-add ng isa. Okay? So, ions ang tawag doon. May dalawang uri ng ions. Tatawagin natin cation and anion. Kailan tatawagin cation? Cation is an atom that loses an electron. So, sa case ni sodium, yung isa doon na lumipat kay fluorine, no, yung positive charge na nakita nyo, cation yun. It happens when there is more protons than electrons. So, cation daw kapag mas maraming proton kaysa sa electron. Remember, proton is a positive charge, therefore, it gains a positive charge. Ayan. So, ganun yung nangyari. So, cation ang tawag dun sa nilose ni sodium na electron. Next, anion. An ion is an atom that gains an electron. Happens when there is more electrons than protons. So, ang electron ay mas marami kaysa sa protons. Remember, electron is negative charge. So, anion yung tawag doon. Pag nag-gain yung electron, ibig sabihin, anion yun. So, balikan natin yung dito sa fluorine. So, si fluorine, anion siya. Negative yung charge niya kasi siya yung nag-gain. Okay, nagdagdag kasi siya. Dito naman kay sodium chloride, ayan, asan dyan yung cation and anion. So, si sodium, positive ang charge niya, nag-lose siya ng isa na lipat kay chlorine. Si chlorine ang anion kasi siya yung mag-gain ng electron. Okay, negative charge siya. Ayan. Malinaw yun, ha? Now, we have here ionization. This is a process of an atom becoming an ion. So, kapag ang isang atom ay nagiging ion, ang process na tawag doon ay ionization. Whereas oxidation happens when metal atoms lose some of their valence electrons. So, yung oxidation nangyayari mostly sa metal. Okay, kapag yung metal naglo-lose ng electrons, oxidation process or oxidation state yung tawag doon. Pag sa metals, okay? Usually, metals have the capacity to lose electrons because more likely they are more of positively charged. So, you can see that on your periodic table. Pag naghanap ka ng isang metal doon, makikita mo may mga positive charges sa kanila. So, oxidation ang tawag doon pag nag-lose sila ng electrons. Now, so we have here figure 1, an atomic symbol with its atomic number and mass. Now, how to determine the number of protons, neutrons, and electrons in positive ions, cation yung tawag doon, and negative ions or an ion. So, this is the formula or formulas rather for a neutral atom. So, for the symbol X, remember that that is the symbol of the element. Okay, kahit anong element yan, basta ang symbol natin na nire-represent na yun yung X, which means an element. Then, from the upper left, we have here the symbol A for the mass number, yun yung bigat. Okay, yung iba nalilito, mass number. Tapos, atomic weight. Isa lang yun. Weight, mass, sa Tagalog, bigat. Okay, and then atomic number represents letter Z on the lower left of the symbol X. So, Z, which means atomic number. Sa figure 1, yung tinutukoy ko, class, ha? Now, let's get the formula. In finding the atomic number or letter Z, it's equal to the number of electrons and the number of protons in a neutral atom, which means wala pa siyang ions, okay? Hindi pa siya naglo-lose or gain ng electron. Now, if you are trying to get the mass number, o yung bigat niya, with the symbol A, it's also equal to the number of protons. Then, you add it by the number of neutrons. So, proton plus neutron. That's the mass number. Bakit? Ba't hindi proton plus electron? Diba sabi natin, last module number 5, ang bigat ng isang atom ay mostly nanggagaling sa nucleus na kung saan nandun ng subatomic particle na proton and neutron. Sila yung may dahilan kung bakit mabigat yung atom. Yung electron, sobrang liit niya, kaya paikot-ikot lang siya sa outer shell. So, hindi siya nagbibigay or nagko-contribute ng sobrang bigat doon sa mass ng isang atom. So, it's the proton and neutron. And collectively, proton and neutron is collectively known as nucleons. Okay? Alam ko naalala nyo pa yon. Kung di nyo naalala, panoorin ang aking YouTube channel, video lesson previews. Okay? Now, for the number of neutrons, it's equal to the mass number minus atomic number. Okay, so it's A minus Z. So, ayun lang. Doon lang naglalaro yung mga formula. Now, let's say we have sodium. The atomic number of sodium is the same as the proton. Lagi yan. Kasi kung ano ang bilang ng proton, yun na magde-define kung anong uri ng element yun. Kasi yun din yung magde-define ng atomic number niya. So, if the sodium is 11, sa proton, therefore, 11 din ang atomic number. And likewise, kung ano yung atomic number, yun yung bilang ng proton. Kasi yun ang magde-define kung anong element siya. Okay? 11 is only for sodium. It can never be for helium. Kasi helium is 2. Diba? Ang atomic number ng helium may 2, He, helium. Therefore, ang proton niya ay 2. Okay? Kung anong proton, yun ang atomic number. Kung anong atomic number, yun ang proton. So, same lang yan in a neutral atom. Next, boron. 5B, boron. O, tingnan nyo yung proton, 5 din. But we are looking for mass number o yung bigat. Sabi natin, mass number or A ay equal sa proton plus number of neutrons. So, we have here, proton ni boron ay 5 plus the number of neutrons 6. So, 5 plus 6 equals 11. So, proton 5, neutron 6, 11. That's the mass number. Yun yung bigat. Next, for iron, we are finding neutron. So, it's equal to the mass number. So, 56 yon minus atomic number. So, 56 minus 26 equals 30. So, that's how you get it. Next, these are the other formulas. In a neutral atom, which means zero charge, atomic number is equal to proton. And proton is equal to electron. So, equal lang lahat yan. So, if it is 5B boron, that's the atomic number 5. That's also the proton. And the number of electron is also 5. Pare-parehas yan. How about the atomic number? Ayan, meron pang isa. Pwede mo rin siyang makuha through mass number minus neutron. That's the other formula in getting atomic number. If you're finding neutron naman, atomic mass minus atomic number. Okay? In neutral atom. But if it is ion, which means either cation or anion, ay meron pa palang isa, atomic mass. So, to get the atomic mass naman sa neutral atom, atomic number plus number of neutrons. But if it is ion, para makuha mo yung charge means yung may positive or negative, cation or anion. So, to get it, proton minus electron. How to get electrons if there is a charge, kung ano siya, cation or anion. So, ito gagawin nyo. Electron is equal to protons minus cation. Cation is positive charge. So, pag may nakita kayong cation, positive ang charge nun, pero kung hinahanap mo yung electron, si proton ay ima-minus mo kay cation, kahit na positive yung charge niya. Bakit? Kasi cation na may positive charge, it means loose electron. Naglulus siya, nawawalan siya, nagre-remove siya. So, therefore, proton minus cation, kasi loose. Cation loses electron. So, yun yung ibig sabihin kung bakit subtract ang ginamit. But, if it is an ion, tas hinahanap mo yung electron, proton, add tayo ng anion. Bakit add? Kasi an ion is a negative charge, which means you gain an electron. Okay? So, nag-gain tayo. So, proton, nag-gain ng electron. Anion yung tawag doon. Okay? So, wag kayong ma-deceive by the charge, kundi yung meaning niya, yung tingnan nyo. Okay? Negative charge, ibig sabihin, nag-gain. So, mag-add ka. Okay? Positive yung charge, ibig sabihin, cation yun, nag-lose. So, magma-minus ka. Yun, ang titingnan natin doon. Okay, example of positive ions and negative ions. So, we have here Be for beryllium and oxygen. So, we have here, sabi nga natin, proton, neutron, nasa nucleus. Ang tawag nucleons. We have here 4 protons and 5 neutron. And then, meron kang electron na nasa labas, nag-orbit sa labas. And for oxygen, 8 proton means 8 din ang atomic number, 8 neutron. Dito kay oxygen, since 8 ang proton, 8 ang neutron, ibig sabihin neutral atom siya. Pero dito kay beryllium, hindi siya neutral atom kasi dapat kung neutral atom, 4 protons, 4 neutron. Nangyari, hindi siya same. So, therefore, magkakaroon ng charge. Nakita nyo dito sa symbol niya, Be, means beryllium, positive 2. Paano naging positive 2? So, tingnan natin yung electrons doon sa shell or orbit. Meron tayong 2. Diba? Kaya may 2 dun sa beryllium na formula sa baba. Bakit positive? Kasi maglo-lose siya. Magre-remove siya. Okay? So, ang isang atom, ang kanyang outermost shell ay dapat stable. Ilan para masabing stable? Kailangan 8. Dalawa lang yan. Anong mas madali? Kumuha si beryllium ng 6 para maging complete na 8 o ipamigay na lang niya yung dalawa niya? Diba mas madaling ipamigay yung dalawa niya kaysa kumuha ng 6? So, ipapamigay na lang niya yung dalawa. So, kaya siya positive 2. So, that's cation. A positive ion that loses electrons. How many electrons yung nilose niya? 2. Kaya may charge ka na positive 2. Okay? Dito naman kay oxygen. Sa labas niya meron tayong 2. Okay? Bakit? Ba't may 2 dyan? Ito naman ay negative ion. Kasi, may tigisa, no, na walang kapares. So, nangangailangan siya ng 2. So, mangunguha siya ng 2 para makumpleto niya yung pares. So, magigain siya ng 2 electrons. So, ayun siya. Negative ion called anion. Another example, positive ion, calcium, positive 2. And then, the other one, P3. Ba't naging ganyan yan? So, punta muna tayo sa calcium. Sa calcium, meron tayong 20 protons. And then, bakit 20 protons? Kasi 20 is the atomic number also of calcium. So, kung ano yung atomic number, yun ang number ng proton. Next. Yung neutron naman niya. So, pag kinuha natin yung neutron, ima-minus natin si atomic mass or mass number, 40 yun, minus kay atomic number. So, mass number or atomic mass minus atomic number, 40 minus 20 is 20. So, 20 yung neutron. The electrons naman, 20, okay, minus positive 2. Bakit mo minus? Kasi sabi ko nga, di ba, yung positive 2 loses an electron. Cation loses an electron. So, ima-minus mo siya. So, 20 minus 2, 18. Okay, kaya ang electron niya ay 18. So, yung positive 2, which means it's an cation, positive ang charge niya, pero ang totoo niyan, naglulus siya. Siya yung nagbibigay, siya yung nababawasan. Okay? So, tandaan nyo lang, lose. Cation loses an electron. How about for the P? P means phosphorus. You have here atomic number 15. So, pag 15 ang atomic number, proton din niya 15. Tandaan, napakahalaga nun na. Kung ano ang proton na number, yun din ang atomic number niya. So yung proton na nagde-define kung anong element siya. Okay? Pag naging 16 si proton, hindi na yan si phosphorus. Okay? Ibang na yan. Ibang element na yun. Okay, anyway, neutron. How to get neutron? So, mass minus atomic number. 31 minus 15 equals 16. Electrons. Ang electrons natin, atomic number minus yung charge. So, 15 minus negative 3. Negative, positive yon, diba? In multiplication. ng sa math, 'di ba? Pag may nakita tayong ganyan, nagiging positive na yan. So, 15, then plus 3. Bakit naging plus? Kasi ang anion ay nag-gain ng electron. So, nag-gain ka, ibig sabihin, nanguha ka ng 3. So, yung 15 mo, dagdagan mo ng 3, 18. No, 15, dagdagan ng 3, 18. So, therefore, ang phosphorus ay may ion na -3 kasi nanguha siya ng 3. Okay? Cut loose and gain. Yun yung lagi ko sinasabi sa mga student ko. Cut means cut ion, naglo-loose. An, which means an ion, nag-gain. That's the keyword na pinapamemorize ko sa kanila. Next. Ayan, we're done already pala, no? So, you can now answer activity 1 and activity 2. So, yung activity 1, it's more about cut ion or positive ion. Tandaan, cut loose. Positive ang charge ng cut ion, pero ang ibig sabihin niya siya yung nagbibigay. Naglo-loose siya. So, yun ang inyong gagawin. Kapag hinahanap niyo yung electrons, ang formula niya ay atomic number and then minus nyo lang dun sa charge. Kahit na positive yun nakalagay. Baliktad naman sa anion. Electron, pag kinukuha mo yung electron, so atomic number, mag-a-add ka dun sa charge kahit na ang symbol niya ay negative. Kasi anion means gain. So, ibig sabihin, nagdagdag ka. So, yun yung iisipin nyo. Okay, nagdagdag ka, so mag-add ka. Next, ito. How the subatomic particles are distributed in an atom, anion or cation. So, remember, atom has 3 subatomic particles. Yung nasa loob na nucleus, yung nasa center, ay proton na positive charge, yun yung kulay green na nakikita nyo. And then, neutron, yun yung color blue na walang charge kasi 0. Sila yung nag-accumulate at the center. Sila yung nagkukos ng bigat or nagko-contribute ng bigat. Ang tawag sa kanilang dalawa, proton and neutron, nucleons. Okay? Kasi nasa nucleus sila. Now, yung electron, dahil hindi siya nakaka-contribute ng bigat sa kabuuan ng atom, so sila lang yung gumagala-gala, umiikot-ikot, nag-i-spin sa orbit. Ayan, nakikita nyo naman, yung color yellow, pakalat-kalat lang sila. They are distributed around the shells or orbit, and they are negatively charged. So, maliliit sila. So, ganun kayo magdo-drawing, ha? Neutron na medyo malaki kaysa sa proton, pero halos di sila nagkakalayo ng size at ng bigat. Okay? And then, pinakamaliit si electron. That's how they are distributed in an atom. Now, we have a lithium. So, may nakalagay na positive. So, therefore, isa siyang ion. And oxygen again. So, a lithium ion with a mass of 7 and atomic number of 3. So, 3 Li lithium. Meron daw siyang positive 1 na charge. Paano nangyari yon? So, 3 proton, kasi ang proton ay siya ding atomic number. So, 3 Li lithium, 3 ang atomic number, 3 ang proton. Hindi pwedeng magbago yung dalawang yon. Proton is equal to atomic number is always equal to proton. Kasi yung proton ang nagsasabi kung anong uri ng element siya. Okay, hindi mo pwedeng sabihin na 4 ang proton ni lithium. Kasi therefore, hindi na si lithium yon. Okay, ibang ano na yon. Ibang element na kapag 4. Now, paano naging positive 1 ang charge ni lithium? Ayan. O ma'am, bakit binilugan mo yung outer orbit ng lithium? Wala naman. wala namang electron. Tama ka, wala nga, kasi yung isa na ilipat na niya. Nag-loose. Yun. Nakita niyo yung arrow? Meron yan kaninang isa. Pero sabi ko nga kanina, ang isang stable na outermost shell ay dapat may complete na 8. Yung lithium, meron lang daw positive 1 na charge. So, kailangan mo pa ng 7 para mabuo yung 8. Mangunguha ka pa ba ng 7? Kung pwede mo naman, mas madaling ibigay yung isa. So, ibigay mo na lang yung isa. 'Di ba? Kaya, ibinigay niya yung isa. Positive 1. Saan na napunta? Kahit sino nangangailangan na atom na anion. So, in this case, si lithium ay isang certified cation kasi nag-lose siya ng charge na isa. Okay? Next, yung oxygen naman. Tingnan natin yung outer shell ng oxygen. Meron dyan na electrons na walang partner or hindi pair. So, ayan yun. Nasaan na yung electron? Mangunguha pa lang siya. Ayun. Kita niyo yung arrow, papasok. Ibig sabihin, mangunguha siya. So, nakalagay dito, an oxygen ion with a mass number of 16. 16, ibig sabihin yun yung bigat, ha? Pero ang kanyang atomic number ay 8. Kaya ang proton din niya ay 8. Kasi tulad na sinabi ko, ang proton ay siyang atomic number. So, meron daw with negative 2 charge. Okay? Negative 2 yung charge kasi kung nakikita nyo dun sa figure, nangangailangan pa siya ng 2 pa para may kapartner yung nasa figure. So, mangunguha siya ng 2. Therefore, isa siyang certified anion kasi nangangailangan siya or kailangan niya mag-gain. Ayan. So, dito sa activity number 3, you're going to illustrate how the subatomic particles are distributed in an atom. So, madali lang yan. May symbol tayo dito ng electron na red. Maliit siya. And then, neutron, mas malaki siya, no? So, wala siyang charge kasi neutral atom siya. And then, proton, color green, positive charge. So, ipe-place nyo lang siya dun kay boron and sodium. So, you can use the periodic table again para malaman nyo kung ilan ang kanyang atomic number. Okay, so and then also follow the formula in order for you to get how many protons, neutrons, and number of electrons. So, ayun. Now, always remember the following terms. Again, when we say an ion, it happens when there are more electrons, which is negatively charged, than protons, and an atom gains a negative charge. Kasi nga, mas madami yung electrons, which is negative charge. An ion also has a negative charge, which means gaining electron. Nag-gain siya ng electron. Kaya negative kasi deficient. Ang ibig sabihin nun, kulang siya. Kaya mag-gain siya. Siya yung tatanggap. Okay? Next, atom. Again, atom is the smallest particle of an element having the chemical properties of the element composed of neutrons, protons, and electrons. These are the 3 subatomic particles of an atom, yung proton, neutron, electron. And do not also forget that electrons is very light than neutron and proton. So, yung neutron and proton contribute to the mass of the whole atom. And they are found on the nucleus. Collectively, they are known as proton and neutron are collectively known as nucleons. While atomic number is equal or the number of protons in the nucleus of the atom. Hindi pwedeng sabihin na 1H tapos sasabihin mo helium yun. No. Kasi 1H, 1 is hydrogen. 1 is atomic number, therefore the proton is 1. Hindi siya He. Kasi ang He ay 2. 2 He helium. Therefore, 2 ang atomic number kasi 2 ang proton. And it defines what kind of element it is. Changing the number of protons means you change the element itself. So, mag-iiba na din dapat yung atomic number niya. Okay? So, very unique ang lahat ng elements in the periodic table. So, next, cation. Cation happens when there are more protons, which are positively charged, than electrons. And atoms gains a positive charge. So, bukod sa maraming proton na positive charge, kaya positively charged ang cation. Cation means you lose electrons. Okay, nag-lose ka ng electrons. So, wag kayo malilito dun sa charge niya. Positive lang yung charge niya kasi more protons than electrons. But cation means you lose electrons. Okay, siya yung nagbibigay. So, siya yung nawalan kasi siya yung nagbigay. Okay, so you lose. While mass number is the total number of proton and neutron. So, proton plus neutron is the mass number o yung bigat. Next, check your understanding. O yan. So, based dito sa chart and using the formulas given a while ago, you can answer the table by completing the number of proton, electron, and neutron. Do not forget that when you see a charge, a negatively charged, that means it's a gaining electron. So, ito ay isang anion. You gain electron, kaya mag-a-add ka dapat. Okay? Dun sa formula na gagamitin mo. Whereas the positively charged, that means it is cation. Therefore, a cation loses an electron. So, magmaminus ka kapag hahanapin mo yung electron later. Pero kung neutral atom naman yan, same lang ang proton, neutron, electron. Kung zero charge, ha? Ayan, ito na. Kakasabi ko lang. So, ito yung mga formulas. Susundan nyo lang yan. Naturo na natin yan kanina, but I'll just flash it again. Ayan. Kapag neutral ang atom, ito yung formulas. Ayan, na-flash ko na. And if it is cation or anion, ito yung gagamitin nyo. Kung hinahanap mo yung charge, minus mo lang yung proton sa electron. And then, to find the electron, tapos nakakita kayo ng cation, meaning positive yung charge. So, si proton, ima-minus nyo dun sa cation. Kasi nga, losing electron siya. Then, kung ang hinahanap naman ay electron, tas ang nakita nyo ay anion, meaning negative yung charge, that means si proton, i-add nyo dun sa anion. Kasi, ba't i-add? Kasi nga, you gain. Nagdagdag ka. So, ito naman. So, susundin nyo naman yung nakalagay na bilang ng proton, neutron, electron for the magnesium. So, nandito naman na yung mga orbitals ng magnesium ion. Kayo na maglalagay nung mga bilog-bilog. So, again, ang electrons, maliit lang yan. Okay? Pwede nyong gawin yung ito, pwede nyo, ibabak ko lang, Ayan, pwede nyong gawin yan. Electron, color red, may negative charge. Neutron, blue, no charge. And then proton, positive color green. Pwede naman. Pwede din kayong gumawa ng sarili nyong legend nyo. But as long as the numbers, i-forward natin. But as long as the numbers are correct. 12 proton, 12 neutron, and 10 electrons. Okay? Ayan. Nag-sample pala ako, binak ko pa. Ayan. O yan, ganyan. Pero syempre, 12 dapat yung protons, tas 12 yung neutron. Then yung electrons, 10. Nag-sample lang ako. Ayan. So, we're done. Let's move to process. Number 1. How does an atom become an ion? A. When there are more protons than electrons and an atom gains a positive charge. B. When there are more electrons than protons and an atom gains a negative charge. C. When there are less electrons than protons and an atom gains a negative charge. D. When there are less protons than electrons and an atom gains a positive charge. 2. How does an atom become cation? A. When there are less protons than electrons and an atom gains a positive charge. B. When there are more protons than electrons and an atom gains a positive charge. C. When there are less electrons than protons and an atom gains a negative charge. D. When there are more electrons than protons and an atom gains a negative charge. Number 3. What are the subatomic particles found inside the nucleus of an atom? A. Electrons, B. Neutrons, C. Electrons and neutrons, or D. Protons and neutrons. Number 4. How many neutrons are in bromine ion with a mass of 80 and an atomic number of 35 with negative 1 charge? A. 45, B. 40, C. 35, D. 50. 5. How many electrons are in sodium ion with a mass number of 23 and an atomic number of 11 with positive 1 charge? A. 15, B. 10, C. 16, D. 20. Now, if you are true, let's answer. For number 1, correct answer is B. When there are more electrons than protons, an atom gains a negative charge. For number 2, it's B. When there are more protons than electrons and an atom gains a positive charge. 3. It's D, protons and neutrons. Kaya siya tinawag na nucleons. So, that's what found in the nucleus. Number 4, answer is A, 45. Number 5, correct answer is 10. I hope you learned something today. Do not forget to chat your teacher on your respective Facebook group or group chats if you have more questions. Have a nice day and bye.